Hey Greg, let's talk bourbon. So, for those of you out there who may have happened on my videos, have been watching them, I really appreciate that. But if you're not that familiar with my channel, I just started this about a month ago. I'm still working out technical difficulties. As you can see, I don't even have a background. But, you know, I'm just a guy who's a bourbon enthusiast who has about, 100 or so bottles. And I like to do blind tastings and just have fun trying out various different bourbons. So one of the things that I've been working out here is that some people have been saying that, some of my friends have been saying that my videos are too quiet. So I am trying a microphone and seeing if that makes a difference. We'll see how that goes. Now I have been, if you've seen my last video or two, you know that I'm leading up to this big blind for about 6 white blind with rye whiskeys. And I didn't want to dive into that trying out this new microphone. I want to get the microphone feeling good about it before I dive into that. So I thought, well, what should I do today then? Well, what should I do to try out this microphone? Well, I'm just going to do something for fun, right? And what my most fun thing to do is to do a blind taste test. And, so what's my inspiration? What should I blind? Well, in my life, my son just got married this past weekend. I have a 6-year-old granddaughter. Anyways, it's making me feel rather old, right? In fact, I'm feeling kind of like an old soul. And I saw this bottle on the shelf, and it just kind of stuck to my hand, right? It somehow came off the shelf and just popped right into my hand. And I decided I got to blind this. I've never blinded this bottle before. I got to try it out. So then I realized, not only do I have Old Soul, but I've got a lot of other old bottles, like Old Dominic and Old Elk and even Old Forester. Now, these are all single barrels. They're all bourbon. And so just to talk about other similarities and differences here, well, if we talk about price range, Old Soul, I believe, was about $70. I believe I spent $80 on the Old Dominic, something that you can only get at Old Dominic down there in Memphis. Old Elk was a present, but I believe it went for like about $80 to $90. And Old Forester, I believe, was $90. So they were all between the $70 and $90 price range. All single barrels, like I said. In terms of proof, Old Soul is 120 proof. Old Dominic is 124. Old Elk is 108. And Old Forester is 127. So I got 3 here that are 120 plus in proof, while Old Elk is only 108. So we'll have to see if that ends up hurting Old Elk. Other things is that I have never blinded this bottle. I have never blinded this bottle. And I've never blinded this bottle. So I'm very interested to see how these 3 bottles do. As far as the Old Forester, I have blinded this bottle. In fact, it was just a couple weeks ago, and it did not do well. So we'll see if Old Forester can redeem itself. So, that all being said, let's get into this. I'm going to push these over a little bit here. Try to keep them on the screen. And got 4 glasses. So just for the sake of, they've already been mixing them up, so I already don't know which one's which. But for a little housekeeping here, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so I'm going to put these in order here. I don't know. The numbers are on the bottom. I can't read them through the glasses. And I'm just going to refer to these as A to D. And there we go. Let's see what happens. This is really nice. This is quite lovely. I think I might know which one this is, but I only have 4 choices here, so smells like a pie. It's got that cinnamon and allspice flavors, but it also has like a little bit of caramel. Pear, I would say, is the fruit. Yeah, I would go pear. So if anybody made a pear pie, this is what it smells like. There's a little bit of yeastiness to it to kind of give it that breadiness to it. Yeah, there's definitely a bready note to this. Anyways, this is just an absolutely wonderful nose. Class B. Very different. Higher notes. This is more of a apple or grape. You know, green apple, green grape. A little bit of vanilla and caramel. A touch of cinnamon. A touch of breadiness. But I don't get the allspice that the last one had. It's just in general, it's a lighter, crispier note on the nose. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you which one that is. Letter C. This one's a little fainter on the nose. The first two were about the same. This one just doesn't have as strong of a nose. Touch of maltiness to it. Cinnamon, nutmeg. Maybe kind of getting a little bit nutty. Maybe in Jamaica, hazelnut. On the high end, maybe a little bit of a caramel that's you know, like it's being like brown sugar being caramelized on the stove, right? Yeah, but it's very nutty. All right, letter D. Nice strong nose. Very pleasant. Wow. I get a leathery note in this one. Kind of makes me think I might know which one it is. Along with, again, that caramel, kind of like brown sugar melting on the stove, creating a caramel. And it also has a little bit of a nuttiness to it as well. There's a little bit of hazelnut to this one. And now, because I'm going into that hazelnut, now that leatheriness is kind of gone. I'm trying to find it again. But here we go. Onto the palate. It's so good. This definitely smells like a pie. Cinnamon, nutmeg, baking spices, or what I would say is an allspice. Caramel, drizzled on top. Yeah, that pear is still there. So I think all of my notes for the nose have come through to the palate. And it's a wonderful nose. It really smells great. This one's really tasty. Very different. This is the one with the green apple flavor. Very light. Little touch of allspice, touch of cinnamon. Allspice is starting to, an allspice finish is starting to develop. It definitely has vanilla on the high end. Yeah. It's not bad at all. You notice it's also kind of got a lighter color to it as well. Quite tasty. I'll withhold any comments about comparing at this point. Now this is the one that didn't have much of a nose, but was nutty. Ooh. Again, on the palate, it's a little light as well. But it's a pleasant palate. Okay, well, I gotta throw in a comparison here. It's probably not quite as good as the first two. It does have that nuttiness and a little bit of caramel, and boy, the finish is turning more to a Chinese 5-spice, kind of a bitier, just more of a spicy kind of a finish. Maybe even a touch of that, because it's really kind of getting that woody, oaky flavor to it as well. And that finish is starting to dominate and wipe out the front of the palate. Maybe a touch of bitterness to the oak. Lovely nose. So what I'm getting coming through is kind of on the light side. Caramel, maybe a touch of vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, not heavy. A little bit of that malty note to it. This is the one I thought I had smelled for a little bit. A leathery note. But I'm not necessarily getting it coming through. Yeah, maybe it's there. Interesting. Because I say that Because one of these bottles, to me, is known for having a leathery and sometimes even a little bit of a tobacco flavor to it. And I don't know if, and that'd be the Old Elk, and I don't know if it's mellowed some or what, but none of these are really coming across to me as having that leathery or tobacco-y note. Like I said, I caught it a little bit in this glass. I haven't found it at all in the others. So I'm kind of thinking that that's what that one is. But I really expected, I really thought coming into this that one of these was just going to jump out as the leather one, right? And that's not happened. Well, I'm going to give a little bit of cheese. I love hard cheese as a means of cleansing the palate. Now, you can't be going with anything salty. Salty doesn't work. And dairy works really well. All right. I think I know which one I like the least, but I'm going to do a quick bouncing around here and make sure that indeed I know which one is the bottom. You know which one this one reminds me of? This one that smells like green apple? It's reminding me of Green Spot, an Irish whiskey that smells like apples. That's what that reminds me of. Now, if I put the two side by side, they probably taste nothing alike, but nonetheless, that's what it reminds me of. Well, and here's the problem with doing this at home. So you hear a little nipping back there, one of my dogs. We just had the mail lady come by, and one of my dogs just kind of let me know that the mail lady was there. At least he didn't go off. We'll say that. Yeah, I think I know. That letter C here is definitely the one that I like the least. Unfortunate. It's noticeably weaker and also has a touch of that, you know, that oak was really coming in there as a finish. There's just no, it's unfortunate, that bottle right there, whichever one that turns out to be. It's just not as good as the others. The other three here are all quite good in their own way. Huh. That nose on A is just amazing. Although D is not bad. B, on the other hand, I don't know. The other one that this reminds me of is Penelope, just straight up normal Penelope. Kind of has that lightness to it. I mean, there's no question. Letter B has got to go next. It's just not nearly as much there. It's good. It's significantly better than C. But A and D are definitely the better ones here. To be honest with you, I don't have a clear idea of any of these. Like I said, I thought I was going to be able to pick out the Old Elk. I have not been able to pick it out. I don't know if I know these two bottles well enough to really be able to pick them out of the lineup. Unfortunately, I'm worried that this one is the one that finished last place. We'll find out. I am pulling for it to redeem itself and to get back in this. Because I like my Old Forester 1920 and my Old Forester 1910. You know. Well, it's got to go this way. It's got to go. First place is A. Second place is D. Then B, and then C. I just can't see it any other way. This, whatever A is, it's got a beautiful nose. And the others just can't seem to compete against it. Just double checking here. But whatever D is, it's also very solid. All right. So in last place, here we go. Number 4. Damn. All right. Old Forester. Well, let's see here. Got to keep everything in the screen. So Old Forester here is in last place. Next to last, third place. Wow. Old Elk. This is the Old Elk class. You know what? Now that you tell me that this is Old Elk, yeah, you know what? It's there. It is there on the nose. While on one hand I was getting all this high notes of vanilla and green apple, which is there, but if you look elsewhere, you can indeed find that leathery note. It is there. Wow. All right. Second place, the runner-up. Old Soul. It's a really good pour. There's nothing I can find wrong with it. It just doesn't have quite as much oomph as this last one. Now, like I said, I haven't blinded these. I'm just amazed, actually, that we got Old Dominic. Now, I love Old Dominic. It was absolutely fantastic when we were down there at the distillery in Memphis. And I kind of wondered if this was it, because it does have a distinctive nose. But I mean, this is significantly better than the other 3 bottles. Right here, first place, Old Dominic. And this happens to be, they have 2 mash bills, by the way, just a little bit of education here. So Old Dominic, if you ever go down there, they have 2 mash bills. This happens to be their Tennessee whiskey. They also have a bourbon. And they're both fantastic. The single barrels can only be found at the distillery, downtown Memphis. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So there it is. That's our lineup for today. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope the microphone worked well. So there we go. That's my experiment. Have a good one. Peace out.